Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, automotive enthusiast friends from all around planet Earth and maybe beyond. I don't know. You did it again. You mustered up enough gumption to push go on yet another...
Kevin, another illuminating episode of V8 Radio.
All right, an illuminating episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your host of the V8 Radio podcast, Kevin Oeste, joined as always by our esteemed co-host, Mr. Mike Q-Ball Clarke, who's always illuminating.
I feel illuminating right now.
Yeah.
Brighten
up the airwaves.
Yes, it's a bright day, therefore the airwaves are bright as well.
Nice. Right on. Well, at least you are. I'm, the famous line from the Blues Brothers as they are finally getting gas in the Bluesmobile in that gas station. And, Jake Blues has just downed a bottle of Thunderbird wine or Ripple or something. And Elwood comes out and says, "You better get bright. We got a show to do."
Right on.
So here we are.
All right.
So we know that our repeat listeners, who we are very grateful for, we appreciate everybody tuning in once again, and they're all ready for the inevitable V8 Radio automotive trivia question, right? Indeed. We drop these bombs in the beginning of the show and let them just kind of simmer until the end, where we reveal the riveting answer.
Where we shovel up all the damage. All right.
Right.
All right, here we go. All right, so Kevin, in 1957, our friends at the Nash Motor Company debuted the Ambassador.
They did.
They did. And when that happened, it immediately became illegal to drive in 11 states. Why was that?
1957, Nash Ambassador became illegal in 11 states.
Correct.
I will take a stab at this one. My guess is that it has everything to do with illumination. I'm going to say that back in 1957... there were laws in place for the number of headlights you could have forward-facing on a vehicle in those 11 states, restricting it to one headlight per side of the car. So my guess is that our friends at Nash pushed the envelope and put a quad headlight system in, violating the laws of 11 states.
Boy, that was a reach, man.
Well, that's my guess.
That was quite interesting. All right.
Well, there's evidence floating around. All the rest of the 57 American model lineup all had two headlights, one per side. But the 58 model lineup, we started to see four headlights in the Impala and Cadillacs and Corvettes. So I think that legislation was in process, or there's a legend out there that an automaker actually went to bat to change the laws, and it might have been because of the Nash Ambassador. Could be. But also, this is an illuminating episode.
It is that.
So that's my guess.
All right, my man. Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, duly noted. All right, well, that was a good one. What do you got for me?
All right. In 1967, Pontiac was starting to ship the brand new Firebird to dealers all over the country, all over the world, and something was interesting about the window stickers on the Pontiac Firebird when they applied them to the car, which prompted a change in the window sticker for 68 and 9. So what was actually up and through the 68 and 9 and into 1970. So the trivia question becomes, what is unique about the window sticker of a 68, 9, and 70 Firebird?
Oh, in relation to the 67?
67 revealed, much like in 57, they said we need more headlights.
Right.
In 67,
Did they?
said, yeah, it's possible. In 67, there was something amiss about the window sticker, inspiring a change that occurred for the 68, 9, and 70 model year.
Gosh. All right. Ooh-wee. That is deep in the archives, isn't it? Okay. All right, we'll take a stab at this. All right, so, good gravy.
Gravy can be good.
Gravy is good. Let's be clear about that. Yeah, come on, Michael. Enough hemming and hawing here.
Note to listeners, this section could possibly be edited for brevity.
Yet will not. All right, so 68 through 70, window sticker. Oh, gosh. It had I'm just going to take a stab and say it showed the VIN number of the car, where 67 it did not. Yeah, it's quite a reach, but that's what I'm going with.
All right.
Yeah.
That's your final answer?
That is the final
we got
answer.
all day.
Yeah, right. It is early morning when we're recording this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
VIN number. I don't know. It's nothing else is coming to mind.
we'll find out.
Yeah. I can't wait for this one. All right.
You're going to have to.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. That's great.
And, you did note that this is today's episode comes to you by the day of Saturday and the time of morning.
Yes.
And little peek behind the scenes. We generally record these after hours in the evening time on a weekday. And sometimes, you come home and you're kind of smoked.
Well, in my case, I'm always home, but yet I am smoked.
Yeah, there you go. But we thought, hey, let's do a nice Saturday morning thing. The weather's still beautiful. We are technically kind of creeping into fall here.
Yep.
So I'm in the garage. The doors are open. It's beautiful out. I was streaming the live stream from the Donut Derelicts a little while ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Donut Derelicts, of course, is it's one of the oldest cars and coffee type events in the world, I guess. Originating from Adams Donuts in Huntington Beach, California.
Right.
And that one starts pretty early. Cars are out there at 6.
Oh, man.
And it's all gone by, 8:30, California time. So there's a gentleman who is there pretty much every week with his iPhone camera, and he walks around and streams it live. So I've been to the Donut Derelicts many, many times. Always enjoy it when I go there and visit in Southern Cal. And it was kind of fun. 2 years ago, Kelly and I were out in Southern Cal for the SEMA Leaders and Legends Gala event, which is a Friday. So Saturday morning, got up early, buzzed down to Donuts, met up with some friends, saw our buddy Ross Berlanga from TLI Interiors.
Cool. Ross is awesome.
Yeah, Ross is a good dude, good friend. But it was fun. This guy comes up to me and he says, "Hey, you're that guy." And that could be a loaded question, right?
You owe me money.
Yeah, I'm not. Maybe I'm the guy.
Yeah.
But he said, "Your shop, V8 Speed Resto, you guys built that loose change Camaro a long time ago, right?" And I said, "Yeah, we did." He's like, "Well, come on over to the other side of the parking lot. I want to show you my version because I modeled mine after yours."
No kidding.
Yeah, he's truly inspired by what we did and did his own take on a lot of the little tweaks that we did on the loose change Camaro, 69 Camaro, and incorporated him into his own build. And you pull stuff from everywhere. It's not like he was,
Right, made a carbon copy, but yeah.
Yeah, and even if he did, that's fine. I'm not saying there was like any kind of a rights issue, like, nope, can't do that.
Absolutely not, sir. You must change that immediately.
Right. And everything we did on that car was influenced by somebody else too. That's just how it is.
Right. Yeah.
But it was kind of fun to think, people actually watch this stuff and they see these cars and they listen and it sunk in. So that was
pretty
fun.
Cool. Yeah, right on, man. I dig that. Yeah. Huh.
So every Saturday morning when I get the chance, I pop the live stream on at least and hang out with our friends at the Donuts if I can't actually.
Good deal. It's like you are there.
It is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you can go back and watch it later, too. So
very cool. Very cool,
man.
So,
speaking of watching, we've been releasing a lot of car build videos on our channels recently, which is fun.
Yeah, it's been great. I've been sharing the Jeepers out of that stuff.
Oh, is that where all the Jeepers went?
That is where all the Jeepers have gone.
I was looking for a
Jeeper, and there was none to be had.
For a gaggle of Jeepers the other day to do something. Couldn't find any.
Sorry, that was me.
Right on. Yeah, but it's cool. I think we mentioned last time, our old friend Ben Koopman rejoined the team on the marketing side, and he's been very busy cleaning up some of the long-term projects that we've had kind of floating around that I've been delinquent on releasing. So last week we finally released the video build of that 66 Chevelle SS 396 resto we did.
Right. Yeah, our good friend Mr. Larry Freeze.
Yeah. And that was an interesting one because I recommend checking the video out if you haven't seen it, because the car it's different. It's not a true restoration, but it's not a typical resto mod or a pro touring car or, a day 2 car. It kind of pulls from a lot of different stuff.
Sure.
And it works. And people really seem to dig it.
That is, yeah, I dig it. Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, the color is gorgeous that our painter Jeff Whitlick dreamed up and put on there, and then the interior colors, what was it, metallic cardboard?
Yeah,
that's what it was called.
Exterior is tropical freeze.
Right.
The owner's last name is Freeze, and the interior is metallic cardboard.
It looks better than it sounds.
No, but it was kind of funny how that happened because, so the colors. It's not a GM color, but it could be from the day. I mean, you had, a lot of your turquoise, the Aegean aquas, and the, marina blues.
Yeah, right.
And,
right.
A lot of those. I love those colors. Those 60s blues and greens are amazing.
Yeah.
But Larry wanted something a little bit different. And at the time, we were concerned that we didn't want this car to look like a mid-90s Chrysler minivan. Remember, because that
would be rough.
There was a time when those colors came back in the 90s, but they were the darker shades of emerald, turquoise, and they all had the matching green or gray interior, and it was like ooh. And not that they were bad colors, but the way my mind works, if I associate a particular color with a car, unfortunately, sometimes my mental vision defaults to like the worst possible example, like a minivan with the bumper falling off and the windows are blown out. I lived in Chicago at that time, and that's what you had. Everything rusted within 5 minutes.
Right.
So when Larry's like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about this kind of turquoise, kind of green," and I'm like,
Larry,
okay.
we got to talk.
Well, and then I immediately mentally went to just a stark white interior. I thought this would be just
that would
amazing.
Pop against that tropical freeze.
For sure.
Yeah.
It really would have. And he's like, "Well, I like the white interior, but my wife doesn't." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. We have to accommodate for sure."
Yeah.
So what does she like? And he's like, "Well, she likes the tans and there was a GM interior called fawn and like buckskin,
right. Yeah.
A couple of tans," and he wanted to do that, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, I'm not sure how that's going to look against the turquoise tropical freeze. And then we had to land on the interior steel pieces, so the actual dashboard itself and the top of the doors and all that. So Larry and Jeff, the painter, were having a conversation, and Jeff's like, "Well, what are you thinking, for the color?" And Larry literally looks around and he's like, "Well, I don't know. Do you see that cardboard box? Make it that color." Which was so
nice.
great. And Jeff's like, "Okay." So that's where metallic cardboard came from.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
And it works wonderfully. The interior is awesome. It's beautiful.
It really is. I mean, it's crisp and the colors look great. Even against the tropical freeze color. It was a home run. It was a real hit. So.
And it's different, and that's what I like.
Mm-hmm. Sure, for sure.
But the rest of it is full on. I mean, it's a full roller 396 and a Doug Nash 5-speed. Don't see those.
Get
very
out of
often.
here! Really?
Yeah. And then
wow.
It's on an air ride suspension.
Right.
So it's got some street ride stuff. It's got some hot rod stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of a different mix.
Yeah. As Larry called it, a day 3 car, correct?
Yeah, right. That was a good explanation, I think.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, it turned out real nice. And he had it back at the shop for a little touch-up or something recently. And when I happened to be down there for my monthly visit, and it just looks as good as the day it was finished.
Yeah, and it was finished a few years ago. And the reason why we waited so long to release the video series on this is that it left our shop like 96% finished. And Larry was going to take care of some of the interior details on his own, and which is all fine and good. But I needed to see the final car for camera, for video, and for photography. And we just never connected on getting it back to the shop and getting that imagery. So when I heard it was coming back for a little touch-up, and the other things he wanted done to it, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna hang on to this for an extra couple days. So we took the time to shoot the video on it. That car is so straight.
It really is. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's got all new sheet metal basically from OPGI. It's got door skins, it's got quarters, the deck lid, floors, and our metal team just knocked it out of the park. And then the body shop guys killed it on that one too. And a few years ago, we had a friend of ours that was working in our shop named Matt Ellebrocht, and he actually lived in a different state. He lived in Iowa and commuted basically to Illinois to work for us during the week, and then would commute back home. And unfortunately, that arrangement just didn't work out long term for his family. But it was great having him around. He remains a good friend of ours, and it was fun to see him working on that car in the video too.
Yeah, I got to meet him once. Cool guy, real nice guy.
Is a nice guy.
Yeah, good dude.
And then the evolution of that was Tim Day, our lead body magician currently, who's been here since then. Tim and Matt, mostly Tim, worked on the blue GTO that we had at the McCacken show, which is kind of the same level as that Chevelle as far as being aero perfect straight.
Yeah. So, gosh darn it, that looks nice.
I got to say, one thing that we've been very fortunate with is to be able to consistently put out really, really nice body work, metal body and paint finishes.
Yes.
On the build, the full build cars that we do.
Yeah. Agreed. No argument for me, man.
No, I'm not looking for a pat on the back here. I can't do it. I've done body work. I've done metal work. I've painted probably 20 some cars in my life. And I know enough to screw things up.
I don't even know that much.
Well, and part of it, I think today I might be better at it than I was. I haven't sprayed anything in at least 15 years. And the last car I did was 20 years ago, over 20 years ago.
Wow.
And I was always impatient.
Sure.
I want this done like now.
Yeah.
And you got to have that mastery of control of your time.
Yeah.
And focus.
Yes. I do not have that. I am as impatient as you are. I am twice as impatient. I will mess it up something fierce. I painted when I replaced the dash wiring harness in the GTO. I had the whole dash bezel out and everything, and it was looking pretty rough. It had been a lot of years since anything happened to it, so I'm like, I'm going to sand this down, smooth it out, and I'm going to shoot it with some color again, get it black again, and get it really nice. And I did that, and I did try to take my time, but I didn't wait for it to. It was really humid when I was doing it.
Oh yeah.
So the paint just stayed kind of tacky and didn't fully dry, and I'm handling it, and I'm just getting my fingerprints all in it, and it's terrible. I'm like, I'm not doing this again. So I put it in as it is. It's hard to see because it is black, and it's on the near the bottom side of it, and it's shadowy, and you can't really tell unless you really get a light on it and look. But I know it's like that. Good thing those
judges didn't see it.
No kidding. Yeah, that might have cost me an award. But I get really impatient. I just want it done. I mean, it works for me when I'm doing mechanical work because you put something together, you bolt it, and you're good to go pretty much, and you get the instant gratification. But when you're sanding and painting and you gotta wait, I'm like, God dang it! I just want to keep going with this. Now I gotta wait. This is terrible. So
and that's a huge part of it. And what I've learned is, kind of the definition of experience to me is not to be able to do the task. It's to have enough knowledge all the way around the task to fix anything that comes up during the task. Right. So in the old days, I knew how to spray. I mean, I painted some completes. Essentially cars on the frame. I've taken, when I was just out of high school, I helped on some frame offs and all that, and that kind of got my feet wet and all this stuff. But in my parents' garage, I did the classic magazine style plastic paint booth with the fans and everything, and the furnace filters, and
heck yeah,
all that stuff, and painted some cars. And I was using, in my mind, I saw the paint gun, I saw the paint, I saw the reducers, I had my mixing stick so I could get the right ratio. I would go talk to the paint guy. Hey, what do I need to know here? Hey, this stuff does that or this, and then I would, bodywork, sand, prep, wet sand, seal, mask, wipe down, tack cloth, the whole thing, and spray it. But the first few that I did, I shot in enamel because I thought I kind of looked at like what some body shops were using, and they were having good success. Well, these body shops had baking spray booths. And at the time, I'm air drying in a garage, and enamel took forever to dry. Oh boy. Especially just letting it sit. And you could cocktail in some hardener and some, activators to help it speed up. But so the first few cars, the enamel was nice because it would flow out. And if you had a little bit of a surface texture from an air pressure problem or something in the gun, it would kind of smooth out and self-level, and it would look great. And then it was sticky for 24 hours.
Lovely.
And to your point, here comes every winged animal in the neighborhood smelling that, I guess.
You get a dragonfly swarm coming through.
Oh my gosh, just dive bomb right into it.
Right.
And you can't
look
fix
at this, guys.
Yeah, you can't fix it. It was a single stage. It wasn't clear. So it was like, all right, moved past that, moved into spraying urethanes. 2-stage, base clear, urethane dries right away. I actually started spraying lacquer, which was sweet. And lacquer would dry instantly, and it was shiny, and you could buff it, and it looked like a mirror.
Yeah.
The problem with lacquer is, a high wind will blow it off the car. It just doesn't have any of the body strength of a urethane plastic-based paint. Lacquer it's like very brittle, very thin.
Sure.
So got away from that and then started shooting the urethanes. And the thing about the urethanes, you breathe the stuff, you'll die. You can't do that.
Well, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
Right. Isocyanates and the chemistry and all that stuff. But the weird thing that always threw me is on a 2-stage, a base and a clear, you spray the base and it's really hard to see if you have uniform coverage because there is no gloss to it. It lays out satiny,
sure,
but inconsistently. So it's not like a uniform satin where you can look to the side and go, yeah, I got the right amount of paint and all that. It's like a little blotchier, a little darker over here or not. Even if the color is right, it's just the way it kind of lays down sometimes looks funky. And I could never tell, like, do I have enough on, or should I put more, or did I overdo it, or is the metallic pattern all screwed up? And then once you clear it, everything kind of comes to life and you can see right away what's going on. But my problem was always not having enough experience spraying clear to know the timing of how the clear wanted to sit on the car. Because depends on temperature, depends on your mix ratio, depends on your air pressure, depends on how far you have the gun, depends on how much material you have going through the gun adjustment, depends on your fan spray, depends on all this stuff. And you might start off, I used to have a thing on the wall, a piece of paper, I'd spray some on the wall and, dial the gun in and then turn to the car. And the speed you move your arm across, that first initial trigger pull, you'll learn right away, like, ooh, this is going to sag and run down the whole car.
Oh, geez.
Too much. Or I'm going too fast and I just put this little weird mist on and it's not enough. And those who have experience know that, they're going to hit this right away correctly out of the box.
Yep.
And or know the repair if it does sag, or how to use a flashlight or different things to look to make sure you've got the right coverage. And that's where the experience comes through. Pointing a spray gun at a car is not hard. It's all the other things.
The dialing it in and making sure that your conditions are correct. That's the real trick.
Yeah. And then So you can do a decent paint job without having ever done this before, just by following instructions and reading stuff and whatever. But to do a great paint job takes years of experience.
Sure.
And our team's got it down. So
Yeah.
my hat's off to those guys.
Really? Well, even, Jeff, our painter, has his daughter Meg working there now, and she has she's almost like a superhero in how her skill set is improving over just the last year. It's incredible, the job she's doing.
She inherited a lot of Jeff's knowledge somehow.
Yep.
When it's funny because, people talk about biology and they're like, yeah, every new kid's a clean slate. Is it nature or nurture or whatever? No, Meg was born with some skills. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because Jeff has developed such a high level of skills over his career that they transferred through. I guarantee it.
Some kind of osmosis is going on over there or something. But she is just murdering it. She's so good. My goodness, it's impressive.
It was fun last week. This past week, Brittany in our administrative team is a pretty artistic person, and she likes cool stuff, and she wanted to learn how to pinstripe, traditional brush.
Oh, cool.
Hand done pinstriping. Yeah, right. Very cool. So they organized this little after work pinstripe party, and it was very cool because a lot of our guys are into that stuff, and so Chad's kind of an all-around guy when it comes to body assembly, disassembly. He can do a lot of different stuff. He's also a painter and has done a lot of pinstriping. And he brought in some cool books with pinstripe art and actually some templates. And I had never thought to do this, but they took some document frame, 8x10 document frame glass, and you put it over the pinstripe template and you paint on the glass.
Oh. Okay.
And if you don't like it, you wipe it off, scrape it off. So they had some of these, squirrel hair knife brushes and some, one-shot paint and some of these glasses. And it was Brittany, and it was Jeff's daughter Meg, and it was Chad. And then Tim, our body guy, is also a big traditional hot rod fanatic. So he came out. Mike Bass, one of our senior mechanic technicians, is also pretty artistic. He came out. So they all kind of got set up and just started kind of messing around. And I was able to FaceTime in a good friend of mine from the West Coast, Mr. Brad King, who's a tremendous pinstriper and lettering guy. And he actually did some, face-to-face time pointers and training, and help Brittany learn how to hold the brush at a certain angle, and how we can dilute it with that is enamel, so a little enamel reducer or mineral spirits or whatever, and gave everybody some pointers on how to pull a straight line, and it was a really cool thing going. I had to jump off before it was all finished, but I came back the next day to see some of the artwork they did, and for a bunch of people that really don't, a few of them have never done this before. I mean, they're really good. It was cool.
Good deal. Did you, I'd love to see some of that. Did you take any pics, and maybe you can share it?
Yep, I got a few photos. We'll probably do a Facebook post on it next week. So if make sure you hit the V8 Speed Shop Facebook account, or we'll throw it up on the V8 radio one also. But
cool.
Yeah.
Good deal. Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. Remember the chatter in the internal communications about that. I'm like, oh, that'll be pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, good deal. Good deal. I don't know where we left off on our last episode with the GTO, but I made a little progress on that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I don't know if I had the head pulled off or not when we spoke last.
Well, just a quick recap is it dropped a valve.
Dropped a valve, yeah, and carnage ensued. So at the time, I couldn't rotate the engine at all, even with a socket on the crankshaft bolt. I thought maybe that valve stem was kind of wedged in between the top of the head and the piston head, preventing it from any movement from happening. I ended up pulling that driver's side head off, and holy cow, it's amazing what kind of damage can be done inside of a cylinder.
Yeah, good observation.
Yeah, so
You're right.
The piston itself has a full crack and is separated slightly all across it. There are 2 big cracks in the cylinder walls. The top of the piston is just beat to blazes. Yeah, I found the valve head, the big end of the valve, and a part of the valve stem was in there. The rest of it's just gone. It's probably sitting in the muffler right now. So yeah, but I can rotate the engine if I went backwards, because the piston was near top dead center. If I rotated the engine backwards, I can get down close to bottom dead center before the engine would kind of lock up on itself again, or something was interfering. So I can go back and forth, but I can't make a full rotation. I think I tweaked a rod. I think a rod is maybe they're interfering with each other as the crankshaft's coming around. I pray it's just the rod and not the crankshaft itself, because forged cranks aren't cheap.
Well, yeah. And depending on how much resistance you put on it, you could have some of the valve junk, like locking a ring against the cylinder wall, in which it would go down but not up, or I don't know.
Right. I don't know, maybe. But there's a chunk of a little chunk of the piston top was missing as well, and you can see the ring in there. And it was, it just really beat it up in there, dude. It was crazy. Yeah, it's not the greatest news, but I got both heads off right now, and I just borrowed my buddy Randy's engine hoist and engine stand, and I'm real close to being able to pull everything out. And my plan is on my next visit down south to bring it all with me and have it evaluated by our engine machine shop staff and see what they think. I sent them some pictures and say, hey, Chip, based on what you see, do you think this block is salvageable? And Kerry Kelly, who's has 30 some odd years of machine shop experience, said, well, if the cracks are limited to what you see and they don't go all the way up into the deck, or they don't extend all the way down, into the water jacket near the bottom of the cylinder, then we can probably get away with an 1/8 inch sleeve and you'll be good to go. But if they do, if that top deck is cracked, and we'll magnaflux it and see exactly where everything is. But if the top deck or bottom end of there is cracked, then you're probably looking at a boat anchor. So yeah, so I'm holding out hope that I can reuse this block, but I'm just trying to manage expectations at this point.
Well, our engine shop team has worked some magic on fixing blocks.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. We had that 428 Pontiac block that had a crack at the freeze plug site, or when the expansion plugs rather, and we were able to do a cold repair on that, and it's you can't even tell it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful repair.
And sleeves seem to be a daily occurrence down there.
Yeah, right. We did 8 sleeves in one block at one point, and it's great.
And that's the thing. I remember. I guess as the technology has evolved, and of course, getting back to people who know what they're doing, are doing the work on it. I remember sleeving being like a last ditch Hail Mary,
Right.
But this is 30 years ago.
Sure.
I had a Buick 455 that I was building for my first Riviera, and that one didn't need to be sleeved, thankfully. It just needed a little shave and a haircut. But I remember talking to the machinist, because they had another one in there at the time at my local machine shop. And back in those days, it was in the back of a parts store. That's where we went to. And the guy's like, yeah, we were talking about putting a sleeve in this other Buick block, but then we said, forget it, because it was too risky, because you can split the block in half.
Oh, wow.
And all this stuff. So to me, a sleeve was like, ooh, yeah, let's not do that. And then today it's like, no, we're able to fix a lot of stuff. And I think the sleeve technology and again, people that know what they're doing. I can't relay the entire industry on that one opinion I got from some Yahoo that worked at a parts store.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But that's where we get our knowledge, as you get into this stuff, somebody tells you something and you stick with it. And it might not be right. And, part of our job is to share other possibilities. There's a John Hyatt song where there's a lyric where he says, somebody told you couldn't dance and you've been holding that forever, right? Maybe you can, but just that person was an idiot. So
maybe
you can't and you shouldn't care, whatever.
Yeah.
But to have a guy like Kerry Kelly on the team, again, with over 3 decades of engine building experience, go, so really it just becomes a matter of feasibility. Like,
right.
We can, do you want to?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. If I'll, when I get it down there, I'll try to make an unemotional decision and just do what's right. And so, and not try
so
to.
an LS.
Like the trivia question, I can edit that out. LS. Yeah, you are breaking my heart, man.
So that's the funny thing. Our friend Paul, who's been on this show, came down to visit last weekend.
Right on.
And he brought he drove his 62 Buick convertible down from your neck of the woods. So, I don't know, 320 mile each way, nice road trip to come visit for the weekend, or basically for 24 hours. He came in and we hung out. And if you've ever heard another of the podcasts that Mike and I have done, that I do, the Stubborn German podcast, which originates from the Stubborn German Brewing Company in the town where I live. Stubborn had their Stubborn Fest, which is their version of the Oktoberfest. So Paul came down for that, and we had a good time. And Chris Ron, the proprietor of the Stubborn German Brewing Company, has recently picked up a project car. He bought a 68 Impala, two-door with a big block. So we were chatting about that. Pretty cool.
Good deal.
But, the reason why I brought this up is Paul listened to one of our recent podcasts on the way down, and he's like, every time you say LS, man, that guy just loses it. It's hysterical. And I said, I would never do that to the car. I just think it's funny.
I just like rage baiting him, that's all.
Make sure you're still listening.
Yeah. It's funny, actually. I caught a little bit of grief. We had a customer call into the shop who has a 78 Firebird, a 79 Firebird, and was looking for advice on what to do with his engine. And he wanted to make like 400 or 500 horsepower and was wondering, should I rebuild the engine that's in it, or should I LS it, or what should I do? And, I had to put my personal biases aside and say, well, with the block that's in that car, it's a weaker block that Pontiac made in 78, 79, and you're not going to get a reliable 500 horsepower out of it. The mains are too thin and they're prone to cracking. And with I had to take a breath and say, your best bet is to put an LS crate motor in it and then go to town. He's like, okay, let's do it. and then Brian and both Brian and Trevor at the shop were like, I can't believe you told that guy to LS his Firebird. I'm like, well, it's not my car and it's not my deal. It's what's best for the consumer. So
but that's the truth, our mission statement is to connect people to the best times of their lives through things with wheels. And if that means the priority is 500 reliable horsepower, maybe he doesn't care how he gets there.
Right.
And, people hear you kind of, again, from your personal project, not wanting to go LS route, that's fine. But am I going to put an LS in my 62 Ford? No. But if I had, a second-gen Firebird that was a 77, 78 that needed to perform the way that car looks and the way that car deserves to perform, especially with the suspension upgrades that we can do on these things, that's like an easy answer. Yeah, you want to put an LS3 in it.
Sure.
And then you're going to have so much fun with the car that you're never going to look back. And a lot of times, we've built a lot of those second-gen platforms in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other considerations. Again, a lot of them might not have had the original engine in them. And plus, they made like, 250,000 of those things in 79.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So they're not a super rare car that we're devaluing, a corner of the marketplace by doing this.
Right.
And we always, we don't throw that engine in the trash. We'll take the original engine out, generally send it home with the customer. But if they don't want it, then, we'll rehome it somewhere else.
Right.
But so I don't want to. I appreciate you're able to walk the company line of what's best for the customer. Because if you get some curmudgeon there that is only steering people in one direction, that they should have a carbureted, 400 and everything.
You're right.
You're denying a lot of people the opportunity to enjoy what they want.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but you got to do what you got to do.
Well, your own stuff's your own stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Your own stuff is your own stuff. So personal biases aside. So.
Yeah. So I threw, Paul being a big American convertible fan like myself, he drove his Buick down, and that's refreshed stock suspension, and that one, actually has a Chevy small block in it instead of the old nail head, which I gave him a bunch of crap for 25 years ago when he did it, or 23 years ago, because I'm like, build the nail head. But at the time, the nail head was beyond his means and whatever. So you do what you do. So anyway, it's got a carbureted small block in it and stock steering and all that stuff. So I threw him the keys to the Galaxy, and he drove that around, feeling that Borgeson box and the upsized sway bars and the decent, not great, but decent shocks and the disc brakes and everything. And he's got disc on his, but I got the Hydro Boost and all that stuff and the tilt column and the seats. And he gets out and had a similar reaction that you did. He looks at me and he goes, I hate you.
This car is too cool. Now my car sucks.
Well, and so here's a funny one is I said the recipe is fairly simple. Again, just the right sway bar, the right shock, the steering, blah, 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 the brakes. So he went home, he drove it home, and his car has a wander to it where we joke about it. Mine had the same problem. You feel like you have to preload the steering before you make a turn.
Yes, exactly.
You got to kind of get the wheel and the whole chassis like on the right side of the road.
On the right side of the slot in the box, so when you turn, it moves.
Exactly. And so when you turn, the first 5 degrees of turning input motion aren't just nothing. And then, boom, you hit the internal stop or whatever. So anyway, he's like, does Borgeson make a box for my car? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, you can find out because that Buick is kind of a weird one. So he called them and said, I got the 62 Buick and I drove my friend's Galaxy, and it's I'm looking to see if you guys do a box. Well, Jeff Grantmeyer, the VP of sales from Borgeson, sends me a text later on. And Paul actually sent me a screenshot. So the guy at Borgeson said, hey, are you friends with Kevin Oeste?
No way.
Was it his Galaxy you drove?
Oh, I love it.
So I am not endorsed. I have to clarify. I'm not endorsed by our friends at Borgeson. I just kind of dig their steering box. And unfortunately, they don't do an off-the-shelf part for Paul.
Oh, darn it.
So we've been doing a little research, and I think there's a Delphi box that was like 90s Impala SS.
Oh, okay.
That might go in his car.
Okay, cool.
And if we get a rebuild by, so when we do rebuilt steering boxes, we like to use Layers.
Yeah.
As a remanufacturer, and Layers has an Impala box. They usually have those on the shelf. So that's going to be his next call, I guess. But it's kind of funny.
That is kind of funny. Yeah, that is high on my list of. I mean, after I get this thing running again, that is, I would love to upgrade that box because, yeah, that's just too nice.
So
too nice.
Getting back to the GTO engine, if So if it's going to be a sleeve and everything else is cool, you had suggested that maybe you do change a few other things in the recipe while it's apart. That's
correct. Yeah. So I had that engine machined at a machine shop a long time ago, and the machinist picked I told him what I wanted. He picked the actual pieces. He picked the pistons, the rods, the crank, and all that. And the pistons he chose sit down in the hole about 29 thousandths, and it's just a little too deep for me. So, and I was kind of honked off by that, but I didn't really have a lot of recourse. It took forever because the block was bored 35 over, and a 35 over piston is not really off the shelf. It was custom made. It took forever, and I didn't want to wait another 6 months for another set of pistons to be a little bit more correct. So what I'm going to do now, I'll probably have to bore. I want to go to 40 over, and I think that's a more standard size. I can get a better pistons. I already did the research. It's already on my hub sheet.
How about that? Yeah.
Yeah, something that's going to sit maybe 10 thou in the hole, and I can maybe deck the block to get that extra 5 that I want. Because I really want it just to be 5 thou in the hole and get the right head gasket on there. And I also want to get a set of aluminum heads. I can get a little bit of a compression ratio bump. I can get a little more power. It'll have better flow, and it'll really wake it up to where I wanted it to be initially. Not that it was a slouch to begin with. It made a lot of great power. But if there's more to be had, I want all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So, and you'll be double checking the piston to valve clearance.
Oh yeah, I'll be double checking all that stuff.
Yeah, keep the same cam.
Yeah, if it's salvageable, yeah, I'll definitely keep the same cam. It's a great grind. We use the same one in that 428 Pontiac we built, and it sounds amazing. So it's really cool. But I'll definitely change the lifters to something a little less noisy. I know Comp has the Evolution lifters that we've put in a couple of builds, and they sound really good. Didn't have much clatter at all, if any at all. So I might go with those. But there's also some other Pontiac tricks people out there in the community have come up with to get away from the link bar style lifters, and I've been looking at that. I'm not sure if I'll do it, but keep taking a closer look at it.
So is it a dog bone style?
Yeah, it's a dog bone style. It's a Ford dog bone style. You got to section it to get it to fit over, and you have to grind away on the inside of the dog bone itself to fit down in there. Over the lifters correctly, and they're using LS7 lifters, a stock LS7 lifter. And one guy's done a lot of research, to verify that when the lifter's at the top of the cam lobe at the tip, that the oil hole isn't exposed, and conversely, when it's on the base circle, that it's not exposed. And he tried different brands of lifters that should fit, and you really zeroed in on what the correct one would be. I've been looking at that quite a bit as well.
So there's a few things going on there, right? So a typical old style flat tappet lifter spins on the cam lobe as the engine's running. And that's one of the reasons why these flat tappet cams were failing, is because people were claiming that the crown on the bottom of the lifter was improperly machined, and it was in fact flat,
right,
which was not inducing a spin. And then you'd have a hot spot that would just metal on metal grind away.
Yeah.
A flat tappet camshaft is not compatible with a roller because the lobes are cut with an angle on them, so that they also spin that lifter. So then when you get to a roller lifters, they roll on a wheel, and the wheel has to be oriented a certain way. So a roller lifter cannot spin in the lifter bore. So in order to keep them from spinning, one way to do it is a link bar, which ties two lifters together next to each other and keeps them from rotating. The problem with the link bar is, for the link to work properly, it has a slot on each end of it to take up the play of when one lifter's down and one is up, and the other's down and the other's up. And that slop action makes noise when it's running. Clickety clackety clickety clack. Now, a dog bone style doesn't connect the two lifters. It puts a thing over two lifters that looks like a dog bone and just connects two together with this brace, if you will. So there is no monkey motion involved with those of a bar going up and down. The lifters have slots in them, that flat sides in them, that allow them to be clocked in the correct position, and then that they slide up and down inside that dog bone without turning. And the oil hole thing is lifters are oiled through the block or through the push rod, and you want to keep the oil in the right place. And people have done retrofits where they found that the pressure relief holes in the side of the lifter, on a tall camshaft or the wrong lifter, they come up higher than the lifter bore and squirt that oil into the middle of the block, and lose that oil pressure, and create all kinds of other problems. So you got to make sure somebody has to go through the motion to see that oil hole is not revealed out to free air. So this guy's doing the homework.
Yeah.
I will say, of all those LS engines that had problems, the LS7 lifters were the first ones.
Oh, of course they were. That's great.
Well, there was a lot of recalls on them, but this is going back a long time now. This is like, 09 or 10 or whenever that LS7 came out. So I think that's figured out by now. But so in my case, my 351 Windsor in the Galaxy has a dog bone style roller because it is a Ford, and it's using that exact piece that you're talking about. There are the dog bones, and there's a thing called a spider, and the spider bolts down inside the middle of the block and literally puts a metal finger on each one of those dog bones to keep them in place.
Sure.
So they don't bounce up and down. And the physical dimension of a Ford small block is shorter and narrower than a Pontiac. So I see where they have to lengthen that spider to keep it to reach all the right places. But mine rattles too. And I think most of my valve train noise is coming from either the lifter, the roller itself, or the roller rocker trunnion is making noise because I got rockers, and there's a roller tip on that as well. Everything's roller on that thing. And I did an experiment last year, and I think I mentioned I dumped some 2050 oil in it, and it cut the volume in half.
That's incredible.
So, well, I read the instructions on the engine 25 years after putting it in because it was a Ford crate motor. And in the specs, it's like, this has been designed to run with 2050 racing oil based on the specs of the cam main bearings. Oh, okay. And I was always like, put the thinnest stuff you can in and get the most power out of it, right? But by dumping as a test, I just did an organic, non-synthetic anyway, 2050, and I didn't. Seat of the pants dyno showed no difference in power. Fuel economy numbers did not change, so it really didn't make a difference to go from in my seat of the pants dyno. Now, if I was doing the math, I know I've done it. I've done the math in the past. I know synthetic and lower viscosity engine oils do definitely have an impact on power and fuel economy. But for going to the sandwich shop and back on Saturdays,
I think we're good.
The sound of the the valve train ejecting. This experiment is telling me that it's okay to run the higher viscosity oil. So my next oil change, I think I'm going to run the driven 2050 that's made for the. They've got kind of a street rod oil. You're closer to the part number off the top of your head than I am. I don't remember which one it is, but there's a driven 2050 street oil that I'm going to go with next.
Cool, very cool. I think I'll go with that as well when I get this thing back on the road again. I was running like a 2040 or 1040. No, 2040 is what I was running. So I'll probably go with the 2050.
That's a weird one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I forget the name of the brand, but my buddy Randy runs that in his end, and he likes it, so he turned me onto it. So I ran it, and it was fine. I mean, it was. I had a lot of valve train noise. I think from one particular lifter, I think it was causing it, and I didn't really care for it. But I'm looking forward to a quieter engine in the future. I
think at one point as a test, I put either 0.15 or 5.20 in my Galaxy once. It was full-on modern European car oil. and just to kind of see what it would do. And it was a royal purple synthetic, so I wasn't really worried about its ability to be there as a lubricant. But the thing sounded like a sewing machine. I mean, it was like...
Yeah, the Driven GP1 2050 synthetic blend racing oil is part number 19506 for all those out there who want to try it.
He says off the top of his head.
Yeah. Well, I brought up my little fluids matrix here that I use.
Yes, everybody needs a fluids matrix.
They do. They really do. So. Yeah, so that's what I got going on in my world here. Just trying to pick up the pieces and carry on here. So
we had a kind of a fun impromptu tour come through the shop yesterday.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I was unaware that they were coming, and it was a local car club came through, and this group has toured the shop before, but it's been a few years ago. And Kelly and I came out to go to lunch, and our shop lunch happens from noon to 12:30 basically. So 12 o'clock, everybody, is leaving the building to walk down the street to get a sandwich or go into the lunchroom or whatever. And all of a sudden, there's Tri-5 Chevys pulling up and a Cougar and a cool truck and all that. I mean, we got 25 cars show up, and it's like, whoa. Huh. And Joe, our sales customer relations dude, gave him the big tour, and I'm kind of nosing around, and Kelly's like, do you know what's going on here? And I'm like, I have no idea. So I peeked in, and they're like, hey. So, of course, reconnecting with some acquaintances and friends and whatever, and Joe's like, oh yeah, so for those of you who are asking for Kevin, here he is, and just kind of hands over the whole tour. Yeah, which was fine. It was fun to stand there and chat with people and tell the story a little bit about how we started and who works here. And I don't know if we ever shared, one of the ladies on the tour said, do you guys do much with vocational students?
Oh, do we?
Which we do. We
yeah,
do quite a bit. And it reminded me of one of the more interesting success stories. I don't know, 7-8 years ago, we had a gal that was a student at a local community technical college, Lewis and Clarke Community College, and she was studying engineering. And she came to work at our shop for the summer. And we're like, okay, and I think Trevor tasked her with drilling some holes in a plate on a drill press, so here's the piece of steel, there's the drill bits, there's the safety glasses, there's the drill, go to town. And she walked over and kind of set it down, and then she came back over and said, I've never used a drill press, so can you help me out here, right? So our first thought was, actually, she was in an automotive program at the school, and we later learned that it wasn't a deficiency on the school. The school actually didn't really involve fabrication; it involved repair stuff. So
okay,
but so Trevor he's like, okay, I mean, I guess I'll just show you how to do this. So he showed her how, and she handled the task quite well. And okay, so we were also looking at each other like, is this person in the right place? Granted, she's just a summer intern, but do we have to? Is she going to require a lot of extra attention, a lot of extra training? Safety. You have all these concerns, but she was sharp. She was able to figure this stuff out. So, task by task, we then learned to say, okay, next we're going to have you do this. Let me show you how to do it real fast, and then go. And then she would totally get it. And by the end of her tenure, she actually rewired an entire 69 Mustang.
Get out of here. Right on.
And made part of a custom fuel injection harness for it. So some pretty high level stuff. Yeah. And did it perfectly. That car's out running on tracks all over the place today. She ended up leaving us to continue on with her education. We fast forward to today, and she's a legit full-on engineer at GM in Detroit.
Wow. Yeah. Holy cats.
Yeah, it was very cool.
That's incredible, yeah.
These are things that they're not top of mind, but somebody asks you about them, and you're like, yeah, we do a little bit with students for sure.
Right.
Here's a great fun story of what can happen. And I think to the credit to the team and to Kelly, it would have been very easy to dismiss her right in the beginning,
right,
and say like, you don't know how to use a drill press, get out of here.
Yeah, you're in the wrong place, hon. For
sure. Yeah. And what could that have done to her potential career trajectory? Because she loves cars, and she's a very smart academic person on the math and engineering side, but could that have really been a limitation, or did it go the other way, and did this really help light that fuse?
Right. Yeah. Hopefully it's the latter.
Yeah, and we're still friends with her. She stops by, whenever she's around, and it's cool. So
cool, man.
So anyway, having that nice little tour come through yesterday was kind of a fun reminder. And we mentioned, you mentioned Comp Cams before. Scooter Brothers, who, was basically the founder of Comp Cams, said in a seminar a long time ago that one of the most important things a business can do is to just continuously tell your story. And at the time, I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to stand there and talk about me all day long, or the business or shop. But what he was saying is that as time progresses, you don't want to forget those little milestone things that happened that add up to who you are now, and also help define the set of standards that you maintain today, and the hows and whys of why you do things the way you do. Because we've all walked into, as employees, we've walked into jobs where somebody says, here, do this, and don't ask any questions. And
yeah.
You've been there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. We kind of tell our story on the website at v8speedshop.com. You have the whole V8 TV Productions and V8 Speed and Resto Shop history timeline that really goes into how we got to where we are today.
Yeah.
And that's worth a look. I was kind of perusing through that the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. Oh yeah, that was cool. I didn't know that. It's pretty cool how you have that set up, and it's worth it for people to go look at that. And if they're curious about how we, got to be the V8 Speed and Resto Shop, this really outlines it all. So
yeah, that's a good point. That was a long-term project for sure, because things happen real time, but it is a timeline. And I remember looking for some software. It's like timeline software plug-in for your website, and all the examples, they were like, you can put up to 5 things on this.
Oh, wow. 5 whole things. That's great.
I think we have 50 milestones or so, just like at least. And it's all the way from like the day our first TV show aired.
Yeah.
To the day we hit 1 million views on YouTube.
Actually, it starts where you were on the Power Tour and you met Kelly.
Yeah, way back
is where it kicks off. And what I like is that you're keeping it updated, because you even have the part where Ziggy joined the team.
Yeah, and in fact, I have to update that again, because this past week our V8 TV YouTube channel turned 18 years old.
Holy cow, really? Gee whiz.
I know.
Were you like the first channel?
Well, not the first channel, but early on, all evidence suggests that we did the first video blog of a car build.
Wow.
With the Royal Sport Camaro.
Oh, yeah.
And it actually predates YouTube, or our YouTube presence, because I remember how this went. I remember when... so we were producing our V8 TV television show during the day. When I say we, it was basically me. And we're building the Royal Sport Camaro. So Kelly and her brother and family and anybody we could get to hold a wrench was putting that car together, thrashing for SEMA for 2006. And when, at that point, our website was hosted by another company, and they came to us and said, hey, we now have the ability to put video on our website. And you guys are doing television, maybe you can put your TV stuff on the website. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know if I have the rights to do that, and we certainly didn't have the technology and the bandwidth to do this. And you got to remember, in those days, video on the web was a postage stamp size, little screen.
Yeah,
it wasn't full screen HD streaming
480
on the television.
for Pete's sake, at best.
Yeah, it was terrible. So, but I thought it was pretty cool, and I thought, well, maybe we could do this deal where we shoot our regular footage of the build, but then periodically, like maybe every night, I just do a quick little walk around, talk to the camera, and do an update. Which, it's funny, I hated that, because It wasn't lit. It didn't have good microphones. It didn't have a tripod. It was very low production quality, which is what we're used to now.
It was grassroots, man.
It was very organic.
Yeah.
It's funny thinking back, my justification to say that was okay was, if you remember the TV show Extreme Home Makeover with Ty Pennington.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He used to talk to the camera every once in a while, and they would cut that in. He'd walk around with a little handy cam thing.
Right, yeah.
Right. So I was kind of doing the same thing. And I thought, it's just a little postage stamp size screen on the website. Nobody's going to, hopefully they don't fault me for it. Because I was really trying to portray that we had some production value on the TV show side.
I got you.
So meanwhile, we shoot the last month, basically every night of building this car. And this is in 2006. Well, our YouTube channel went online in 2007. And one of the first things we did, I was putting those earlier videos just on the website, not on any sort of a platform outside of V8. And back then it was v8tv.net. And when YouTube launched, I'm like, well, maybe we'll give this a try. And it took until 2007 for me to kind of get it together. And that's when I started putting up those build blogs. So they're already a year old when they hit YouTube.
Okay.
But they were still some of the very first build blogs on YouTube. So we preceded that even by a year. From when we actually went. I don't know. It's just historical trivia for us, but that was that time.
Pretty cool. Considering, YouTube is only 20 years old and your channel is 18 years old. That's pretty early on. You're an early adopter.
For sure. Yeah. We did have, over the years, we've had several, in those days, when you logged onto YouTube, the home screen was not tailored to you. It was a generic, everybody sees the same landing page. And then, of course, they got more sophisticated and tailored the content to you. But back in those days, everybody got the same homepage. And there was times when they picked our videos to be on those homepages from the automotive side, which was kind of cool.
It's cool. Right on, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's funny to think about. But and along the YouTube line, this past week again, I got an email from some group. I don't even know who it is, but they ranked us the top number one classic automotive channel on YouTube.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I don't know who these people are or whatever. And there's a billion channels. I'm not saying we are worthy of any number one anything, but I thought that was kind of funny. And I always look at these like, what's the marketing thing? Do you want me to buy a t-shirt or something from you that says, hey, I'm number one? And they just send this to everybody with a channel.
Yeah.
You're number one.
Buy our merch.
Yeah. But I didn't find that. And I definitely didn't find that with that million podcast thing that put us ranked pretty highly. That's legit. Right. So that was pretty cool. But
yeah. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. All right. Well, I have a feeling everybody wants to know what's going on with these Pontiac Firebird window stickers.
Yeah, and this illegal 57 Nash. All right. So I asked you, Kevin, in 57, when our friends at Nash Motors put out the Ambassador, why it was immediately illegal to drive in 11 states. And you had guessed that it had something to do with illumination and the fact that it had quad headlights where everybody else had just single headlights on each side. And you would be right. It was because in 1957, the law had passed that allowed quad headlights, but it had not been adopted in these 11 states. So it was technically illegal to drive in those 11 states.
Politicians are slacking.
Yeah, they were slacking, but in 58, then you saw the big deluge of quad headlights come to the market. But Nash was the early adopter of that.
Nice.
So yeah,
and the Ambassador.
Yeah, the Nash Ambassador. Yep,
which was their Highline sedan.
Mm-hmm. But it was actually what I learned through my research of this question is that Chrysler, I forget what the model was, but they had a particular model that you could get in either single or quad headlight configuration based on the engine or based on the state that the car was sold in 1957.
Wow.
So in those states, and it looked kind of funny because you could kind of tell on the single headlamp, you could tell there should have been a spot for another headlamp, but it just wasn't there. It was kind of like a knockoff was there. And other ones had a single headlight, but they had like a running light that looked like a smaller headlight that was next to it. So it wasn't technically a headlight, but it had that quad headlight look.
A blank.
Yeah. So
that's really interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder if it was like a Seneca or what it was.
Yeah.
But here's my other question. So the story that I always heard is that Cadillac, being the global standard of excellence, basically threw up a middle finger to the U.S. government, and the 57 Eldorado has quad headlights.
Ooh.
And they basically said, we know and we don't care.
I think Nash did the same thing.
Yeah, interesting. So maybe those cars were both released on the assumption that it's going to turn over and all the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, that it is turning over, so.
Or it did, and it's just up to them, the states, to get their stuff together.
Get their act together, yeah. Yeah, that's
interesting.
That is interesting. But yeah, I kind of like that question, and I like that you caught the tie-in with the overselling adjective.
Doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. That took a page out of the Chris Ron book of the German word of the day.
At the Stubborn German podcast,
yeah.
And
exactly.
you know what he's done is he's now divorced the Stubborn German word of the day.
Really?
With the theme. Yes.
Oh.
So
yeah, because everyone's getting it.
Yeah, we'll have a guest who is a brewer from a different city, and then the German word of the day was like, a German thing of that same town, and you could do the math and figure it out. Well, now it's all random. So.
Dang it.
Yeah. We had a great time at the Stubborn Fest, by the way. It was,
I bet you did. You did the ceremonial keg tap.
I did, yeah. It was 3 p.m. on Friday to kick the whole thing off.
Nice.
Got to pound the tap into the keg and have the first beer and kick it all off. And I will say real fast that the entertainment, he normally has, some authentic German bands and some other kind of fun German theme music. This band called the Bulls and Beer Band was there, and they're like a polka band, but also kind of a punk polka.
Oh, interesting.
They're not loud, but it's just fun and goofy and, kind of crazy and everybody having a good time, real loose. But the evening entertainment on Friday was Steve Ewing. And he is the front man for the famous 90s and 2000s rock alternative band called The Urge.
Oh, okay.
If you're familiar with the Urge. The Urge is local to the St. Louis area where the bar is. And Steve still plays with the Urge, but he also has the Steve Ewing Band, which does a lot of covers and different rock and roll stuff, and they killed it. It was so much fun. Paul and I had a great time.
Good.
Half the town was there. I mean, it was a huge deal. A lot of fun.
Let's kick
Put that on
man.
the calendar for next October 3rd and 4th.
October 3rd and 4th, Stubborn Fest. I'll time my visit down to the shop to coincide. How about that?
You go. Well, maybe you drive the GTO.
Ooh, that would be nice. That would be nice.
I mean, I was going to say a springtime, road trip debut again, but springtime comes fast, so this will give you the...
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, let's give me a little bit of
Countdown's
time. Yeah, it's there. All right, it's going to happen now. Now I have a goal. All right.
That's it.
That's what it takes. All right, good deal. Goal is set.
And
it's in the books.
One of the very first events at that brewery, Chris actually had a little wagon, like a kid's wagon, with a beer keg on it that was pulled by a goat walking around the brewery.
Get out of here. Ah, man.
So, there's a tie-in here. There's a theme.
Look, it's Hughes GTO.
Yeah. The goat returns.
Very nice. I love it. Damn it, Ron.
Yeah. No goats were harmed, but he could never do that again, by the way. That never happened again.
No. That's awesome.
I didn't see anything. I know nothing.
Yeah. I hear nothing. Nothing.
Okay, so my question to you was about window stickers on 68, 9, and 70 Firebirds being somehow different from the 7. And you said they showed the VIN on the car, where in 67 they did not.
That is what I said.
Yeah, I think every window sticker has the VIN.
Yeah, probably. I just didn't know what else to guess.
But allow me to share a little story.
All right, please do.
So 1967 Firebirds are on their way to Pontiac dealers. And on the side glass is the factory window sticker. Now, traditionally, Pontiac would put their window stickers on the quarter glass so that you could test drive the car and see out the side window.
Okay.
But the standard 67 Pontiac window sticker was too large to fit in the Firebird quarter window. So Pontiac attached the 67 window sticker to the side glass. But for 68, Pontiac created a special reduced size window sticker that would fit in the quarter glass on the new 68 Firebirds. And what they also learned is that you could rack up enough options on your Firebird that it would overflow that and create a 2-page window sticker.
Oh, my.
But that reduced size window sticker would be found on 68, 69, and 70 Firebirds. Even though, much like our legislators with the quad headlight law, Pontiac realized that 70 Firebird, they don't have a quarter window, and the side glass on a second gen is huge, so they were able to go back to their standard in 71. They didn't need to continue, so that's the story on the 68, 9, and 70 Firebird window stickers. They were smaller, and I guess if you're going to go for some ultra concours showing, you probably should put it on the quarter glass.
Well. That is a good question. I never knew
trivial.
That. Yeah, it's trivial but cool. Yeah, that's our new tagline. V8 Radio, trivial but cool.
This sure is trivial.
Yeah. Oh, Lord. That's great. Good question, though. I learned something today.
And it was Pontiac related.
And it was.
See how I care?
You do. Now, did that coincide with the Camaro as well, I'm guessing?
Tune in next week.
Oh, here we go.
I would say yes. I would gather yes. I don't know. Because, in those days, the source I had was really a Pontiac thing.
Okay.
And the divisions were still pretty separate. They had brand.
They're doing their own thing.
They wanted to be unique, but I would just think by the logic of it, you don't want a window sticker right in the guy's face, or whoever's test driving the car. So I don't know, maybe somebody could find out and post that on our socials and let us know.
There we go. All right, you all have a task now.
Homework. All right. Well, this was fun.
This was fun, man.
Perhaps our next episode might be either right before SEMA or right after SEMA.
Oh, yeah, that is coming up.
Full steam.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Yeah.
So you'll have plenty of work to do, I'm sure.
I have plenty of work. We have a car going.
Do we?
The 69 Corvette Roadster.
Oh, right. Oh, my gosh. I knew that.
That was featured at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals this past year. Is going to be shown in the Coker Tire booth wearing a prototype set of Coker tires.
Yeah, the Jayhawk Blue 1969 Corvette Roadster. Beautiful car.
Yeah, I learned this past week the tires just arrived at Coker. These literally are the only set, and they are prototypes.
Oh, my.
And the car is going to be wearing two different tires. The left side is going to have a raised white letter, and the right side is going to have a red line. So showing the different options of tires that are available. This is a prime example of what a SEMA car should be.
Right. It's there to show off products, right?
Yeah. In context on something cool. So we're very fortunate to have a V8 Speed Resto Shop car on display there again.
Good deal. When's the last time we had one on display?
It's been a few years. I think the last was the the Reloaded Camaro made 2 appearances out there, so its second appearance, and then the Mr. Chevy, speaking of our friend Larry Freeze.
Right.
Mr. Chevy 55 Chevy Gasser on the hauler. We're parked out in front. That was a cool one. So our thanks to our friends at Coker. They're actually managing the transport and everything. They're taking care of that for us, which is great because the car's not at our shop right now. It's halfway there already at the customer's house. So.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. And Ben, our marketing director, and I, marketing manager, and I were chatting about kind of a different form of SEMA video coverage that we've never done. And that is, he's like, maybe I just kind of follow you around for a little bit and we get what Oeste's SEMA looks like compared to the rest of the world.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, it might be interesting. And so from Monday morning, I'm physically shooting videos of cars for the Hot Rod Industry Alliance reception for Wednesday night. And these videos are shown on the big screen on stage. So I have to shoot and edit those over 2 days and get them on the stage. And then Tuesday morning is the kickoff breakfast, and I write that script. And then Tuesday all day is SEMA Central, where I'm doing interviews. And Wednesday at lunch, I'm emceeing the TMI Trim Award. And then Wednesday night is that HRA reception that I also MC. And then Thursday is back to SEMA Central. Thursday lunch, I MC the SEMA Hall of Fame luncheon. Thursday night is the SEMA banquet, and I think I got a little piece of that one this year.
Good Lord.
Friday is back to SEMA Central, and Friday afternoon is the SEMA cruise that I MC with Joe
Sebergandio. Yeah.
So Ben's like, yeah, if we capture a little bit of all that stuff,
That'd be cool. A little behind the scenes documentary.
Well, I started to make that list, and I'm like, holy cats, it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they get their money's worth out of you, that's for sure.
Yeah, I guess I never really looked at it like, if I was to take that workload and assign it to somebody, I'd be like, okay, yeah, you got a lot to do. In my case, I'm just like, okay, let's go. We're just going to go do this. I enjoy doing that stuff. I don't think of it as work. I just think of it as like appointments I got to make,
Sure, for sure. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, hopefully we can pull that off, because I think that'd be. Somebody pointed out that is a view of the SEMA show that nobody else has. That is correct. And we're always looking for different ways to share different angles of things. So yeah, that's part. So now we just add into the whole workload of doing a week-long documentary.
There we go. I mean, no big deal, right?
See how it goes? You just pile more on.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Just do it all. Who needs to sleep?
Then there's also the Hemmings party that we got invited to, and there's another SEMA Political Action Committee PAC reception thing, and a never-ending source of stuff. So if you want to get involved, and you're not involved, if you're going to that show, it's kind of your own fault, because there's so many things to do.
I mean, I'm trying to get involved. I mean, I am a communications subcommittee member of the HRIA now.
This is true. And you need to have a quick chat about that, because there's stuff to do.
All right. Let's get to getting, man.
Got a meeting this week.
All right. Let's do it.
All right. Well, this was fun.
This was fun. I like the Saturday morning. I'm fresh. I don't have a workload to try to work against, and keep my head straight. This is good. I like it.
I can replay the Cars and Coffee video now, hang out in the garage, and get some other stuff done. So
good deal.
All right, friends. Well, if you enjoyed the show, and how could you not? I mean, cue ball's on it. This is your chance to quickly like and subscribe and share it with your friends. And think about that for a second. I know at some point, if you listened all the way, you probably went, oh, yeah, that reminds me, my friend Dave did the same thing. Well, yeah, maybe send it to Dave. Maybe Dave needs to hear this as well, right? Share it around and like, subscribe, and we appreciate it. And for Mr. Mike Q-Ball Clarke, I'm Kevin Oeste, reminding you to keep the shiny side up, and we will talk to you next time on the V8 Radio Podcast.